Right, we are back and we've got a new toy to play with. Massive shout out and thank you to XTOOL for sending me the brand new F1 laser system and filtration system. So I don't want to bore you too much with the specification, the scientific stuff. But what we have here is the world's first dual laser and the fastest at 4,000 millimeters per second. It is an absolutely incredible machine. So I've never ever touched any laser equipment until 2 days ago. I received this on Saturday. It is now Monday. I've had a little play around with it, but I will be exploring so much and doing full reviews with this piece of kit. I mean, from what I've tested and played around with so far, it's amazing what this machine can do. So up inside here is a 2-watt infrared and a 10-watt diode. So essentially what that means is this machine can cut and engrave. Now it can cut wood up to 8mm and acrylic up to 3mm. And it can engrave down to 0.00199mm accuracy. This thing is so incredible. And the machine itself only weighs 4.6 kilograms, making it ultra portable. You can take this to crafting events with the filtration system without any worry of any fumes being introduced into the area around you. And so that means if you do craft events, you can do on the spot personalized stuff there and then for your customers. And the other really good thing is it's straight from the box. There's no kind of putting parts together. There's no rails to assemble. This is controlled by mirrors inside the machine, which basically move around ultra fast to pinpoint the laser to where the design needs to go. It has a built-in safety cover. That very important emergency stop button. If you do buy this machine, be sure to pull that out before you power up the machine. Otherwise, it will not work. And there's extra attachments that you can buy for the machine separately. There's a roller rotary tool, a sphere rotary tool, ring rotary. There's an extension so you can make bigger pieces. It's a really good plug and play system. I mean, this unit plugs in with a USB cable at the back to the filtration system. So as soon as I start the machine on any project, this will automatically kick in and start to purify the air through that hose at the back. Now the air purifier itself goes through a 3-layer system, activated carbon and HEPA purification up to 99.97% purification. You actually get 2 spare pre-filters in the pack as well. Be sure to get those out because I accidentally left those in my box thinking they were packaging. So a note for the company, just stick a big sticker on there for us and say spare filters. And with the machine itself, you also get a box full of lots of different materials that you can kind of test and have a little play around with. You're going to need them, to be honest with you, especially if you're new to lasers. There's a lot of preloaded pieces on the actual program on the laptop or on your phone that you can actually just transfer straight into the system and work on a project instantly. So we're gonna just have a little play with it today, and I'm going to show you something that I saw a video of it on YouTube, and there was no settings on how to create this, so I had a little play around and I managed to achieve something absolutely incredible. Now many of my channel viewers know that I like to experiment with different things, so this is going to take my art up to a different level. If I can incorporate a lot of using this machine into my resin art, it's going to be a bit of a game changer for me, and I hate using that word. Also in the box you get this cutting stand plate, and you also get this bracket which screws directly into the base plate, just to be able to tuck any pieces that you're working on in nicely and square as you go. Now I think this will be ideal as well if you have an established, say, Etsy or Shopify or something like that, and you want to move into something else. This would be ideal to do personalized stuff really fast. And if you do decide to take the jump and order one, there is of course a discount code that the company have been kind enough to give me in the description box below, alongside the links to where you can buy these awesome pieces of kit. So on to this video's actual project. I'm going to laser a portrait of an actor onto this skeleton leaf. Now I did see this, as I mentioned, done on another YouTube video with a different laser system, and there wasn't any settings that I could see to actually find out how to do it. So I got through a couple of leaves before I actually mastered the settings, user defined settings, not anything imported. So I'll give those settings also in the description box below, and I'll show them on the system itself as we're kind of sizing the portrait up. So this was actually the first piece that I made with the machine, and to be honest, for a first attempt it's really not that bad. But what I didn't like was that it actually lasered the photo as a square also onto the coaster. Now I'm going to show you something that I did on my phone, and it's a really handy thing, and most modern phones have this. So what I did in my phone gallery is I just held my thumb down on the picture and it cuts out the picture and removes all the background. Now I can then save that as an image to my gallery, and then I can send that to my laptop or via my phone into the program, and it cuts out all of that stuff. And what I did from that first coaster was I was then able to create this. Now I know it's still not 100% perfect, but you can see the difference between that and this, and we're going to use that method on my phone to cut out all of the unnecessary stuff, to just get the portrait cut out and lasered onto this really delicate leaf. Okay, so this is XTOOL's creative space. Now I've got a Cricut Joy, and this is very similar. So this is your canvas, which is the base plate inside the actual laser machine. And it is a really user-friendly system. I'm not sure if you can see it all properly on your screen. If I just go to image, I can then load an image and it will say yes, scale to fit on canvas. So there is our image loaded. So we can shrink that down to any size we want. We can edit the picture, we can crop it, we can do lots of different stuff in the system. If you have the image selected like it is now, it's got the box around it, it comes up with all these options on the side to be able to basically tweak this as you want. Now what you can do is just tap out of it and you can go into the materials list. Now obviously there's not a leaf on this list, but there are lots of preloaded materials which will automatically change the setting depending on what you're doing. So if you're engraving a slate coaster, I selected 5mm rock coaster, and then when I select the image, that will all come up with the settings for a rock coaster, but we're not doing a rock coaster, so I need to select user defined material. Now what I was saying earlier about the projects, up here is a projects tab. If you click that, you've got lots of different projects. They will be adding more for the F1, but you can filter these and you can tap them and it will just load straight into the program, ready to go with whatever you see there. So what I want to do is just crop it. So I'll go into edit image and go to the crop option at the top here, and it's just saying select the area you want to keep. So I'm just going to select and just cut out a little bit of the bottom, click the tick and then click save. So that has cropped my image. Now we do want to make sure it's in the center of the canvas as best we can. I'm just going to shrink that down a bit, and this is where the magic happens. If I push the framing button, what that will do is it will frame inside the laser, and I'll show you. What it's doing is it's beaming down the work area onto whatever piece we're doing. Now if I change the settings just by clicking this wheel here and then going to outline and then click framing again, what it's doing now is actually beaming down the whole perimeter of Mr. Depp onto our leaf. So we can see it's too big, so we need to shrink that down a little bit more. And you can see it's smaller now, but I want the design the other way on the leaf, like so. And this is such a great feature because you kind of get to see, you know, the perimeters and whether it's going to go over the edges or whatnot. So it's clear from the tape. And what I also want to show you is another really good feature, which is the focus. Now you want both of the lasers to be pointed in the same place, but you want the red and the blue to combine and make a purple colour, and that's when you know your laser head is focused and it's ready to start your project. It really is easy. It looks scary, but it's not. So now we're ready to just slide down our safety cover. So the settings for the leaf, I've put dot duration 75, so that's how long the laser stays in one spot. I've put the power range of 1 to 58. I've put the DPI, which is dots per inch, which is detailed, to 749, and it's in blue light mode. So once you're happy and it's framed and ready to go, you just click start again up here. It will send that to the laser, and to initiate the job you just push that button. Okay, the noise is the fan that has cut off, so the machine beeps when it finishes and beeps when the fan is off. So that second beep is when it is safe to lift up your lid. So that task took 6 minutes 29 because I did add the extra DPI detail. So we can now just lift up our safety visor and take out our piece. And as it is, it doesn't look like much at the moment, but when we peel it off, just carefully because the leaf is fragile, just take off our tape, and there you have Johnny Depp on a leaf, ready to put in some resin. Let's do it. And before that, I'll show you, this was the second one I did. So the first one I had on too much power. And then I played around with it a bit more, cropped it a bit more, and increased the DPI. So you can see there's a lot more detail in that one. But imagine what you could do with family pictures, or, you know, all sorts of stuff that you could laser into these leaves really, really nicely with awesome detail. Okay, so Johnny's ready to go into my resin. Now you'll see why I picked this leaf, because it does fit quite nicely into this mold. So before you select your leaf or your picture and start lasering it, just try and work out what you're actually going to use it in first. But this is ideal. I might have to trim a little bit and make a little hole for the little knobbly bit. But I'm going to be doing this with UV resin just because it's a lot quicker. But you could do this with 2-part epoxy. So I'm just going to pour in my resin. As always, massive shout out to my channel members. Anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, thank you very much. I'm sorry if lasers aren't your thing, but this is a massive opportunity for my channel to review and check this out, and there are going to be a couple more videos coming on this, and especially, you know, if I do merge really good things with kind of bridging UV art with laser art, of course I'm going to share it with you for free. And when I say if, I mean when, because I am going to crack some amazing things with the two combined. So now I made a small hole with my dotting tool. Might have to be a bit more heavy-handed to get that over that knobbly bit, and just rest that over the top of the resin. I'm just hoping after all this I'm not suffering with lots of bubbles. So now we can just cure that with our lamp. Once that's cured, I'm just going to go in with another thin layer, just so it's got some depth. You see what I did there? Not depth, depth. And that was, of course, fully unintentional. It happened. Look at the state of my dotting tool. And we've got a tiny bubble at the bottom. I should have done Michael Bublé. I'm just topping it up now with a thin coat of black mica powder. I'm thinking about it, you could probably stain the leaf with an alcohol ink, let it dry, and then submerge it. It should work. Or go with a different colour background. But I'm just worried that the cutout won't show if I kept it clear or went in with a white. Okay, it's time to see what we've got. I put Cillian Murphy in as well because I didn't want him left out. So we'll start with Cillian. Now you could keep these clear and they'll be a bit more personal, I think. So if you held it up to the light, you could then see whenever you want, but to anyone else it would look like a leaf, I suppose. That looks like a mugshot, doesn't it? Now look at that. I kept this one fairly smoky, but that is incredible. The things that we can do. You don't have to do pictures. You could do like lots of different designs. Anything that you want, you can kind of personalize onto a leaf. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment if you haven't subbed. It's free, hit that button for me. Again, massive shout out and thank you to XTOOL for this opportunity. It really is huge for me and my channel, and hopefully to my viewers. And there's Johnny. I could have gone a bit bigger, I think, and kind of cropped it a bit better. Maybe just had his whole face in there, but I've only had the machine for a few days. I love these, absolutely love them. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.